We ain't tearing them up today, that's for doggone sure. And I'm starting to get a mite restless with this. You know, we might have to move again. Because we ain't even in a school. We ain't even in the ballpark. We ain't even in the vicinity. We not even in the daycare. That's the way it goes fishing, folks. But at least we out here enjoying a good time. Out here in the nice water. Quiet. Except for they got some racket going on over there. Ain't no telling. It's always a building project where I'm fishing. Oh. Got a little bump going on there. He wants it. All he gotta do is take it. We after the big ones, not them little nibblers though. But them little ones make good eating though. Just shake them in a little corn meal. Throw them in a hot pot of grease. Let them float. Pull them out. Fry you up some French fried taters, ketchup, little Louisiana hot sauce. You got something right there, cat daddy. You got something. I've been fishing these waters a long time. This is one of my favorite places. If you can't hear me, it ain't my fault. There's some people cutting out the whole forest over there. Putting up, making racket, running machines right where my fishing hole, right where my fishing hole is. Every time I go fishing, they got some kind of, building project going on. I don't know why it's always a bunch of racket where I'm trying to fish at. I mean, I go in there for some peace and quiet, and if it ain't 19 hound dogs hollering in the woods, there's construction going on. Clearing the woods, sawing. What's up with that? They following me around? I feel it. Yep. He's just playing with it. He don't want the whole thing, see? He's just kind of tinkering around with it. He might have had a little breakfast earlier, it's kind of like you do, and you get up and you have a little snack, and then you don't just hit it full-fledged, like go right into a couple eggs, bacon, and some grits and toast. Well, that's what I got on the hook. Maybe he just wants to taste the grits, I don't know. I'm going to fool him up here in a minute, though, while he's trying to get a taste of them grits. Fixing to happen. Fixing to happen, people. I'm using it fancy. If I'd had my cane pole, I'd done caught this thing, but yeah, this is all a bunch of malarkey right here. Well, I like to use a cane pole because I've been using them all my life, and it's reliable. I mean, it ain't gonna break down on you. It ain't gonna backlash. It's guaranteed to work every time. And just because it's new, don't mean it's better. I ain't bringing no suntan lotion, but I ain't wanting a tan, so why should I bring it? Everybody says, bring you some suntan lotion, but I ain't wanting a tan. So I don't understand why people always want me to bring it with me. They say, You're gonna be out in the sun all day. Don't forget to bring your suntan lotion with you. For what? Well, it's been a little bit. Two things done happened now. I quit getting a bite, and the racket stopped over. They must have cut down all the trees, or my movie people may have told them something. Y'all call them? Anyway, it could be all my bait's gone, or it could be that my hook's too big. I got one on there big enough to catch jaws, but I'm after the big ones. But I need to pull in. I'm gonna go ahead and check my bait and verify. Yeah, he took all the bait. I'm gonna go ahead and swap down a little bit on the hook size, because I think this is a little bit on the large side, or as they say in J.C. Penney catalog, the plus size. Like my wife is, like plus size. That's what kind of clothes she wears anyway. I never understood why they call it plus. We always called it biggins. Oh, don't get me wrong. I ain't saying the biggin's bad. I like biggins. I mean, I'm a biggin. You gotta have, somebody that can put out for you, chop wood, do chores with you, clean a hog or whatever. That's why I like biggins. Plus size. You just use a smaller spoon, see? Back to that breakfast analogy. They like to use analogies where I work at sometimes too. They think we stupid. But anyway, I ain't gonna get too deep into that. They probably watch my shows. What is an analogy? Well, I think it's for people that's too stupid to understand. So you put it in a real simple way. So people that's stupid, or at least people you think stupid, will understand. I personally don't need analogies, because I can pretty much handle what you're telling me. But I understand a few people need it. I'm figuring he must have got my bait again. This is getting hilarious. I'm gonna pull it in just to verify. I got a small hook on there now, though. We ain't got that alligator hook on there. See, this is not happening right. We're gonna have to move somewhere, because we up in a den a little one. There's probably a school of them, And you know what's at school, a bunch of chaps. So we need to move to where the house is, where the grown-ups live. So that's just a little learning for you, a little tip, fishing tip. You don't want to fish in a school of fish. That's all little ones. Unless it's like a high school of fish or something. But we want to move up a notch, move on down where the adults is buried up in a log or something. We may even get out in the water and have to catch one in a log. That's called logging. Some of them scamps call it noodling, but we call noodling something else. That's where we actually fish with a float, kind of like yo-yos, but it's a noodle. You know them floaty things you get when the rich people got swimming pools, and they don't swim in the river like I do. They got a thing built in their yard. And anyway, they got these things they buy up at one of them places. They're about that long, about that big around. They float. Cut them up, tie a spring on them, put some bait and a hook on it, chunk it out there. That's noodling. Well, yeah, there's a difference in noodling and logging. I mean, that's just the way it is. Here in the South, we call it one thing, and up there north, like Arkansas, they call it something else. Kentucky and all up in them areas, they call it noodling. But we catch them in logs, so we call it logging. I don't know where the noodle came from when you're doing it in a log, unless you're poking a noodle in there or something. All right, we in a new place now, folks. Had a couple of hits, about like we did back yonder, but I hope it ain't another school. I want to tell y'all where we fishing at. This is the Amite River, South Louisiana, one of the finest rivers around. Been fishing here all my life. Used to fish here with my old uncle a lot. He's gone now, missing. We were fishing buddies. We used to tear them up. Now I got to fish with halfway fishermen, but really I'm the best at it. I just don't brag about it much in front of them. I try not to out catch them, you know. I'll catch like 2 or 3 and then slack up. Sometimes I don't even put no bait on the hook. I just throw it out there and they think I got a bait on it. But I'll let them catch up and then I'll put it on them again. But right now ain't nobody putting it on nothing because we ain't catching nothing. This ain't real good. It could be a lot of things. We had a lot of that rain last night, a little fresh water. Sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. I don't see no bait fish jumping either. But there's catfish in here. I done caught them long as my leg and big around as my wife's leg. Big old catfish. Oh, how big's her leg? Well, it's pretty good size. I'd say it's about big around the end of a 50-gallon drum. Well, we ain't tearing them up, folks. If I had my cane pole, this would be different. I just saw one of them fancy bass fishermen go by just a few minutes ago. He's looked like he's going to play 6 rounds or whatever, how many rounds of golf they play. Pasture pool's what I call it. But he was all fancied up, had fancy reel, slinging about an $8 bait, just slapping the water with it. Whatever happened to just get you go cut you a long cane pole, tie you some string on it, put you a minnow on it, little cork or bobber, stick it over by a log, bam! That's what you catch some bass with. I know how to catch bass, but I'm at the catfish. If I was bass fishing, I'd load the boat up right now. I could load the boat up. I could catch them 8, 10, 15, 25 pounds, whatever. I got some state records. I just ain't never, turned them in because I don't want to be, I ain't that type all boastful and stuff like that. Want my name in the lights and in the paper and stuff like that. I'll leave that to them other boys, Them whippersnappers need little recognition, things like that. I always just eat mine. Yeah, I caught record bass. I didn't measure them or weigh them or nothing, but I can just tell they records. I can look at something and tell how big it is. I don't need scales and things for measuring and all. I just know. When you got the experience I have, you'll know you got a record fishing dog when you look at it. Folks, why are we taking them? Well, it ain't really a break. We just ain't catching nothing. But I did lose a little bait. I was gonna demonstrate how the proper way to put a worm on the hook. First, you get your hook, you get your worm out the bucket. Then you want to, you don't need to put a whole worm, you just want a piece of it. Because you wasteful when you do that. So you take half of him, well, not half because I'm using a little bitty hook. Take about that much is what you want to use. And you take it, and you break him in half like that. And then you put that one in the bucket, the piece, and take the little part and you just kind of spaghetti him up on there like that. Go right up on him like that. And then you're ready to go. And you always gotta, I wash my hands because they nasty. You don't want to get it all over yourself. But you go ahead and spit on it. Then you're ready to catch a fish. You hear what I'm saying? You gotta get nasty mess off of your hand. And then, with this fancy rod and reel thing, we're gonna sling him back on it in the hole. Look at, I had a hit and it just, ooh. Had a little hit when it hit the water, see? That spitting on it worked. But anyway, I just wanted to demonstrate to you the proper way to put a worm on. I hope y'all learned something there, because it took me years to figure a lot of that out. Oh, and don't forget to put the cover on your worm, because you don't want to get too hot and you know, they'll spoil on you. You don't want to cook. You don't want to fish with dead worms. Fish like them live, a little bit of wiggle going on the hook. Yes, indeed. That's a good tip, though. Now, if you're fishing with chicken livers, you use a piece of it, too. You just got to break a piece off of that, too. No, I don't always use my teeth. I mean, I do have pocket knife, but your teeth is a tool, man. I mean, you need to use them. If you got good teeth like I got, you put them to use. I mean, that's why I maintain mine, and I'm very hygienical, so I can use them. They're very versatile. Alright, folks, I done put the big boy back on here because we ain't catching nothing. Oh, I put the big boy on, but I added something. Beef jerky. Got the big hook, beef jerky. I know it'll catch something big because they catch big feet on them commercials with them Sasquatches. I know it'll happen. So, we fixing to catch a big fish. Beef jerky. I ain't telling you who it is either because they ain't sponsoring me. They want to pay for some commercial. Then we'll tell you who it is, but we're going to chunk it out there and see if we can't catch you something. He's just a big one. Look at it, already got a bite. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to stand up on this one, boys, because he's feeling right. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come to daddy. That's what I'm talking about. Come to daddy. Well, I wasn't quite prepared to get yanked out the boat. Of course, I know now it's an alligator. If it had been alligator season, we'd took him on in. I just wasn't prepared for it. That don't usually happen to me. Well, we missed a good one, but there's a good side to the story. We found out what it was. There come alligator. See him over yonder on the other side moving along? Good thing I didn't snag him and got him up in the boat. I mean, I snagged him, but we didn't want to bring him up in the boat. We didn't have enough room for one thing, and it ain't gator season. They frown on you if you try to bring a gator to the house when it ain't season. Plus, you got to have these things they call tags. And I don't own no tags, and I don't own the land here, so they got a monopoly on it, you know what I'm saying, on the gator hunting deal. But that's a whole nother story and another show. We're going to do that too, but just go to show you, got the big hook, you got the right meat, something going to happen. We're going to move down though, because I want to get away from the gators. This ain't cool. I don't like being in the water with them that much anyway, but I ain't scared of them or nothing, but this ain't the gator show, so you know, I don't want to catch gators on the catfish show. So we're gonna move down the little way, see if we can't snag one before it gets too hot, because I'm starting to get it mighty hot. But I cooled off some when I hit that water. It's about like 31. Was it cold? Man, these things happened to my body, I can't even tell y'all. Well, folks, we done moved again, ain't caught nothing. But we fixing to catch some rain. Got some big clouds over there. So I think we're gonna roll it up, call it a day, do it again next time. Until then, Bubba out, and stay away from alligators. Well, folks, we didn't catch nothing today, but we had a good time. I know I did. Hanging out with my little buddy, hanging out with you. There ain't nothing no better than that. When you got time, take your kids fishing. It's fun. It's good. You don't have to catch nothing. It ain't about that. It's about quality time. And I hear that all the time. Quality time. I need quality. But that's what it's really about. Just spending time with your loved ones. There ain't no better way to do it than outdoors, especially fishing. Till next time, Bubba Survivorman out.